It's Casual Friday in the not so bland office. Also, it's time for another TJ Combo. Welcome back to Keeping Up with the Comics. I am TJ, aka Flash by Night, and today we are keeping up with two books. We are going to take a look at Shadowman #1, new series. Well, not new character, but new series from Valiant, and we're going to look at Wonder Girl #1 from DC. And the first book I want to look at is Shadowman #1. So Shadowman is a character named Jack Boniface. I think it's Boniface. Yeah, and he is a musician, and he's also been given the powers of being able to kind of live in both our world and other worlds. There's a little bit of mysticism, a little magic to him. He has a little swag, and he's basically has the responsibility of fending off other demons and monsters and such from other worlds, mainly from where he calls the dead side. So, as we open up the first issue, you see him fighting this demon kind of in the streets of New Orleans. And what's really funny is, if you notice this glowing sickle he has here, but if you take a good look, when he takes a lick from this monster, it kind of disappears, and then he kind of just conjures it back up. He kind of just makes it appear again. So that's kind of interesting for him. But as he's fighting this monster, he doesn't get the monster's name, and I dropped my book. He doesn't get the monster's name, but the monster, kind of in the vein of the Decepticon from the second, third, the second Transformers movie, when he says the fallen will rise again. As this monster is dying, he says that Shadow Man needs to find her. Eventually, we do. I think he does see her, but we don't find out who her is or anything about her in the book. And so that's kind of one thing I like, some mystery to it. He also has who he calls a confidential informant. That guy's pretty fun. He's like King of the Dead or King of Death or something like that. And so they end up on kind of a bloody cop adventure. And they end up at this mansion, basically where some cult activity is taking place. It's not what it seems on its face, but it's pretty interesting. And so the story itself kind of drew me in. There's a little bit of lore, a few things about, I'm assuming, about voodoo and about New Orleans that I'm going to have to know, which kind of interests me. So I'm going to keep up with this book. I'm going to give it 2 or 3 more issues to see where it goes. I think it's going to be interesting, and I think it's going to be a fun ride. So the next book I want to keep up with is Wonder Girl #1. Now, Wonder Girl #1 was kind of interesting to me. It didn't knock my socks off, but it does introduce us, or at least me, to a new character. I know she appeared in a couple of books, mainly in that Future State Wonder Woman book, which I didn't check out. So before we get started, if I should check that book out to help me get more context for this book, let me know. I have a couple of copies of Future State Wonder Woman, but I haven't read them yet. So if I need to crack one open to get some context, you guys let me know. But starting off this book, we get a little background into her and her mom and the tribe she comes from, and what may have happened to her in the past as she's kind of daydreaming on this plane on the way to Brazil. And she's kind of going back to Brazil where she was born, to, I guess, get to know family, get more background on herself, learn some more things about herself. And as she gets to Brazil, we see Queen Nubia, which I guess she's queen maybe because Hippolyta is in the Justice League book right now, but we have Queen Nubia and a couple of other interesting groups, including Hera and probably some gods from Mount Olympus, and these Bana Mitzdal Amazons, who I had to look up last night, and apparently they are some group of Amazons that branched off, weren't happy with the status quo in Themyscira. But either way, all three of those groups of women, gods and demigods and so forth, know of or at least feel Yarflor, Wonder Girl's, her arrival in Brazil. When she's in Brazil, we get a little heroics, get her, kind of showing who she is. We meet a couple of other interesting people, and then that's kind of it. I don't want to say what happens at the very end of the book, because I don't want to spoil a whole lot, but that's kind of where we leave off. And yeah, so that was Wonder Girl #1, at least from my perspective, my vantage point. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna fully follow this title. I'm not 100% sure if it's really up my alley. I definitely think it had a good start. It's got some good elements. I'm curious about the circumstances surrounding Yarflor, and the circumstances surrounding the other players in the beginning of this story. So I may check out issues #2 and or 3 and see where it takes me, see if it brings me in a little bit more. It's definitely worth at least a short-term look, and we'll see how I feel about it in the future. So that was Keeping Up with the Comics. I hope you enjoyed yourself. As always, I hope you might check out 1 or 2 of the books in this video. But before I go, I want to make an announcement. I am going to try and launch another version of this video called Catching Up with the Comics. And I'm going to start it by going back to the beginning of Dan Slott's Fantastic Four run. As you may know, I picked up Fantastic Four issue #32, and I was intrigued in the goings on, and I haven't heard many people talk about this book, and so I'm going to go back and check it out. And as I go through it, I will bring it to you if you're interested. But that's kind of my short announcement. Nothing big, no explosions, no fireworks, no thrills, no frills. Just me checking out Fantastic Four, and maybe doing some other books and stories I may have missed in the past for characters that I like. But that is all for now. So go ahead, and if you enjoyed yourself, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, leave comments, all the good things. And yeah, as always, love yourself, love others, and I will be back in a flash.